Today, we're going to break down exactly what it takes to get into the cockpit of an airliner. It's a whole world defined by global rules, serious dedication, and just constant, rigorous testing. So let's dive right in.
You know, when you're settling into your seat on the plane, have you ever stopped and really thought about the person up front? Not just the uniform, but the incredible, long, and difficult climb they made through training and testing and regulations just to get there? Well, that's the journey we're taking you on right now.
Okay, so let's get one thing straight right away. A pilot's license is nothing like your local driver's license. See, flying is a global business, which means the safety standards have to be universal. Everyone has to be on the same page.
And the organization that sets this global standard? That's ICAO, the International Civil Aviation Organization. It was born out of the Chicago Convention way back in 1944, and it's basically the UN agency that makes sure when you fly from one country to another, everyone is playing by the exact same safety rulebook. And at the very core of this whole global system is a document called Annex 1. You can think of it as the master blueprint for licensing every pilot on the planet. Now, regional bodies like ESA in Europe, they might have their own specific versions, but they are all built on this same ICAO foundation. And that's what ensures a pilot trained in one country is trusted to fly anywhere else in the world. So, how does this journey even begin? Well, the first major step on the professional ladder is getting what's called a commercial pilot's license, or CPL. This is the license that lets a pilot actually start getting paid to fly.
And the requirements are incredibly strict from day one. You have to be at least 18 years old, and you have to pass and hold a valid Class 1 medical certificate. And this isn't just a quick cough and a checkup. It's an incredibly thorough exam looking at both physical and mental fitness to make sure you can handle the immense demands of the job.
From there, a student pilot really has two main options. There's the integrated path, which is kind of like a full-time university course. It's an intense zero-to-hero program. Then you have the modular route, which is a lot more flexible. It lets someone who already has a private pilot's license build up the required hours and qualifications piece by piece, often while working another job. And let's talk about experience for a second. Just to get that first professional license through the integrated route requires a minimum of 150 hours of flight time. And we're not talking about just joyriding. That's structured instruction in everything from basic maneuvers to flying across the country to flying at night. But, as you're about to see, 150 hours is really just the beginning. The ultimate goal for pretty much any airline pilot is the ATPL, the Airline Transport Pilot's License. This is the highest level of certification you can get, and it's what's required to be the captain of a large commercial aircraft. And the jump from a CPL to an ATPL is just enormous. Just take a look at that number. You go from 150 hours for a CPL, and the requirement for an ATPL skyrockets to 1,500. That is a 10-fold increase in flight experience. You don't get that in a few months. This represents years of flying, often as a first officer, just building up a deep, deep well of experience.
And it's not just about the hours in the air. To get an ATPL, a pilot has to be at least 21, they have to pass 14 grueling theoretical exams and complete very specific training in multi-crew cooperation. This is all about advanced knowledge and teamwork, not just basic flying skills. Now here's a really common point of confusion that we need to clear up. Holding a license, even that top-tier ATPL, doesn't mean you can just jump into any plane and fly it. For that, you need something called a rating. The easiest way to think about it is this. The license is your driver's license, but the rating is the special endorsement that says you're allowed to drive a big rig or a double-decker bus.
And ratings really come in two main flavors. You've got a class rating, which covers a whole group of similar aircraft, like all single-engine piston planes. But for complex, multi-pilot airliners, you need a type rating. This is a specific, super intensive qualification for one particular model of aircraft, like a Boeing 737. An airline pilot needs a separate type rating for every single different type of airliner they're qualified to fly. And I mean, it is that specific. A pilot who is fully qualified on an Airbus A320 can't just decide to go fly a Boeing 787 for the day. No way. They would need to go through a completely new, totally rigorous training course and skill test just to add that 787 type rating to their license. So, you've got the license, you've got the ratings, the journey's over, right? Time to relax? Not even close. Aviation is a world of constant checks and revalidation. A pilot is never done with training. See, every single flight operates under one of two sets of rules. There are visual flight rules, VFR, which is exactly what it sounds like. You fly by looking out the window, the old see and be seen.
Then there are instrument flight rules, IFR, which are used when you can't see, and you navigate only using the aircraft's instruments. Commercial airliners, they operate almost exclusively under IFR, no matter what the weather is like, as part of a highly structured air traffic control system.
And this brings us to a critical concept. A pilot's license isn't a single document that's valid for life. Its power is directly tied to the validity of their ratings and their medical certificate. If any one of those expires, the whole thing is effectively grounded. It's a constantly moving, interconnected system of checks and balances.
This table really lays out that constant cycle. So yeah, the license itself might be valid for 5 years, but look, a pilot's type rating for a specific jet has to be rechecked every single year. Their instrument rating, yearly. Their medical, every 12 months, and that gets even tighter, every 6 months for pilots over 60. This means pilots are constantly in simulators and classrooms, proving their skills over and over and over again.
And all of this training, every single regulation, it all comes down to this one fundamental principle from ICAO. The ultimate responsibility for the safety of the aircraft, the passengers, and the crew, it rests squarely on the shoulders of the pilot in command. Every rule, every check is designed to ensure they are prepared for that huge responsibility.
So, next time you board a flight, think about that. Knowing the incredible journey of training, testing, and perpetual revalidation that brought those pilots to the flight deck, does it maybe change how you view the person in the cockpit? It's a testament to a global system built on one thing and one thing only: uncompromising safety.